Oh my. Oh, this shit's disgusting. I thought I asked you for the Sicario. What is this shit?
Man, it's the Soldado, man. It's basically the same thing.
Oh, no, drug dealer. It is not. And let me explain to you why. On this episode of Room 666, get the fuck out of here. I'm not going to pay for this. Welcome to Room 666. Today, we are going to be reviewing Sicario 2. So you want to be a Sicario. The latest film from Stefano Sollima. Film stars Benicio del Toro and Josh Brolin coming back and reprising their roles that they did so well in the first one and that for some reason they decided to ruin in the second one. Let me tell you about it. Let's do it. See that tongue? You guys see that tongue? Stefano Sollima is the man behind the camera for this No Bueno sequel. And let me tell you what Sicario 2 is about before I tell you why it's bad. So, we start off with the government needs Josh Brolin's character to come in and stop the cartels, which they believe are helping terrorists cross through the border so they can, do these kind of suicide bombings. So Josh Brolin wants to kidnap one of the cartel's boss's daughter so that he can start a war between the cartels and have them just kill themselves. That's his plan. That's how we get rid of the cartels, according to Mr. Brolin's character. And how are they going to do that? Well, they're going to have to get Benicio del Toro's character to let loose, right? They're going to let the Sicario loose. Let the dog off the leash. From there, we just have botched stuff happens, right? The whole thing just gets fucked up. The government decides that they don't want them to do what they told them to do in the first place and says, we got nothing to do with you. For instance, Josh Brolin, he needs to kill Benicio del Toro, but he doesn't want to. And Benicio del Toro needs to kill the little girl that they kidnapped, even though they were going to give her back, and the government was like, nope, we don't need it. She's gonna rat us out, kill her. And Benicio del Toro was like, no, I'm not going to do that. That makes no sense because in the first film, they were ready to kill whoever the fuck, whenever the fuck. And they weren't the good guys in the first film, necessarily. They were the bad guys. They try to give these characters this kind of moral compass and this sort of dramatic stuff to do. Like, Benicio del Toro is just basically walking through the desert with this little girl. It's supposed to be like, oh, he's remembering his daughter, blah, blah, blah. It's so stupid, right? It's so dumb. Let's talk about the director's choices for this. So in the first Sicario, in order to introduce Josh Brolin's character, we have a scene where it's just showing his shorts and his feet wearing sandals, right? And he's in a room full of these very important military and just all kinds of different types of people who are wearing suits and aren't dressed like that. And Emily Blunt has just been in this traumatic bombing incident at this cartel's house. And she's looking at him, and it's played for laughs because you're supposed to be like, oh man, who's this guy? But it's also supposed to be a little sinister, especially the way Denis films it. You're supposed to feel like, well, who could this guy possibly be that he has a nonchalant attitude in this atmosphere? But in this one, how do they introduce his character? Oh, well, we see him walking in Crocs. He's walking through a military base, and there's just this, you just see his feet for a long time walking through, and you just see him in Crocs. To be like, hey, guess what, guys? Remember how he had sandals before? Now he's got Crocs. That's basically the only evolution they gave this character, is that he wears different fucking sandals. He basically undermines everything. Like, there's literally a scene where they're driving in a car. Benicio del Toro's character is sitting in the front seat, and he's chatting it up like some schmuck. And Josh Brolin's character is sitting in the back seat. That would just not happen. These characters from the first one, or at least what was established in the first one, would just not do something like that. That just wouldn't, it would be the opposite. It'd be a totally different thing, but they do that because there's this little fucking punk-ass kid who they have a little side story who he's like trying to be a mule, like bringing people over for the cartel, and he like runs into the car so that he could stare at Benicio del Toro and notice him later in the stupidest fucking... Oh my god. So Benicio del Toro's like fucking all far away and the kid notices him because he saw him in the car and stared him down. Now this kid's a little puny little pipsqueak of a piece of shit human being. Benicio del Toro would have shot him in the face in the first one. That's just what would have happened. Oh, but guess what we do here? Guess what the director decides to do here? And let me stop there. I'm not going to blame the director. I'm going to blame Tyler Sheridan because Tyler Sheridan wrote this garbage. And I feel like the first script might have been garbage as well. It's just that Denis came in and gave it a theme, gave it style, because this one feels like this real kind of just macho, kind of Cinemax, kind of straight to DVD kind of version of Sicario. But it's still the same writer, and I can't really blame the director because he's trying to go out of his way to copy the style from the first one. There's a bunch of great aerial shots from the first one where you have that great kind of theme where you get this sense of dread and all this beautiful cinematography from Roger Deakins. And here he tries to copy those shots, and they're not done well. They're out of place. Things that were done in the first one that he can't duplicate because he's not as good as a director. He doesn't have the cinematographer, and he doesn't have the understanding, or at least the interpretation that Denis had of the first Sicario script. Whereas this material, he just he relied on the dialogue, on the script, and he just goes with it. And not only does this script undermine all the characters, you have, like I said, Benicio del Toro, who plays this kind of quiet, he's, he only says what needs to be said, and he does what needs to be done. He never just fucking blabs off in a car like some asshole. Whereas like in the first one, maybe that's what it was, but Benicio del Toro did not make it that, and neither did the direction. And I'm really upset that Benicio del Toro is a fantastic actor, and he still not that he does a bad job, it's just the characters are done bad. And then Josh Brolin's character Josh Brolin is a great actor, and in the first one, he just has also this kind of quiet, kind of sly look to him, right? You don't know if he's evil, you don't know if he's bad. And he's always got this kind of way about him to trick people. And here, I guess he doesn't really need that because everyone around him knows that's who he is. But he has nothing. He's just saying these dumb lines. He's just standing there, just acting like he's got a moral compass. Again, they give so much drama to this, and I don't know why they did it. The acting is fine. The kid actors I didn't really care for too much. But everyone else, they're just playing what they played before. It's just they don't have the style, and they're relying too much on the dialogue, where you can totally tell Denis probably told them, well, let's nix the dialogue, and we can do this with like a shot. Like I could tell these 3 pages of dialogue with like just this shot. And here, the director can't do that, and it's really unfortunate. Don't want to bag too much on him because it really is the script. This is just no bueno. Let me just, okay, spoiler alert right here, right now, to end this review of this terrible movie. Let me tell you how this terrible movie ends. So, Benicio del Toro, he's done for. He got recognized, the kid recognizes him, and the cartel's got him. They tied him up, they put a bag over his head. They're just like, you gotta shoot him. That dumb little kid that recognizes him, he gets a gun, comes up, blasts him in the fucking head, right? You're thinking, Del Toro's dead. Oh, crazy, that's a very interesting choice. No, he's alive. He just got shot through the cheek, of course, right? Because, he's Benicio del Toro. Why would they make some good choice like that? He's alive, and he's well, and it shows a year later, after he's stumbled about through the desert with his cheek all bleeding, he's all fucked up, and he's crashing cars. It shows a year later, that little fucking piece of shit kid, he's all tatted up now, he slicks back his hair, and I guess he's part of the cartel. He's going to his usual place of business where he does like a pickup for the cartel, and he opens the door, and guess who's standing there? Benicio del Toro. And he looks at him, tells him to close the door and sit down. And as he looks at this fucking asshole kid up and down, he tells him, so you want to be a Sicario, huh? And then he walks towards the door and he says, let's talk about your future. And closes the door, and the movie ends, and it's 2 a.m., and I'm sitting on my bed, and I've just watched a Cinemax movie that I didn't want to see in a hotel room in Vegas. That's what that felt like. That fucking ending felt like. So, fuck this movie, and fuck that ending. Again, I don't want to get too crazy about the director. I don't want to act like... It seemed like I'm bagging on him. It's mostly the writing was just not good. Sorry. Oh, in conclusion, I'm giving this one a no bueno. I do not recommend this to anybody. But look, honestly, if you saw the first one and you didn't like it and you want some like watered down, cheap version, cheap 99-cent store version that you could just throw on and hear a bunch of dialogue explain everything to you in a really terribly done way, then I would say you should go out and see this. But if you're like me and you think the first one is a masterpiece because it has a theme, it has style, it has characters, it has, well, point. And, maybe Tyler Sheridan's original script didn't have a point, and maybe Denis came in there and he brought something from that. And maybe that's why this script feels, this story feels the way that it does. It doesn't feel like there's any point to it. It's just some sort of just really straight to DVD version of Sicario is what this is. This is a late night Cinemax version of Sicario. And I do not recommend this to anybody. I'm sorry, no bueno. We're giving it a no bueno. Avoid this so they don't make a third one. Believe me, you don't want a third one. When you see how this fucking thing ends, you don't. And we're gonna end this now. So don't see this movie. Don't give this movie your money. I'll get a Sicario after your ass. All right, see ya.